a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ayy, 12 can't really stop shit, so I'm still pushing like a mosh pit. Ice dripping, think I'm hot shit. In a yellow bucket with the mop stick. I've been jugging jams like wholesale. Everything must go sell. Hitting bitches with the oh well. Need 100 million on the low scale. On my worst night, I'm the best nigga. Wouldn't mess with you, couldn't cap to him. Homie spotted me like 700, brought 1100 right back to him. If I can't do it, then it ain't real. I just make dollars, I don't make deals. I've been going hard in the paint, still blowing kush clouds till I can't feel like. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like. 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like. 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
All right, hello everyone, and welcome to the last day of the loser bracket. This is round 8. I'm Crims, just filling in for game 1, so I'm gonna spoil that I'm not gonna be here for the rest of the series, as I'm joined on the desk, who will be for the rest of the series, Golden Gad. And just before you go, Golden Gad, I'm gonna reveal our green matching colors today. A little bit of a premature celebration, but we don't really have tomorrow, so we're wearing our best green. Golden Gad, explain your t-shirt, number 1, because that doesn't look very green. And 2, what do you think is going to happen today?
Yeah, so get it out of the way. It's not that green. I guess people could still pinch me for sure, but it's in person. Trust me, it's a little more green than it looks on camera. Just a little bit of light correction here, because I got no fancy lights or anything. My camera does all the work. So yeah, but yeah, as far as predictions are concerned, we're gonna be having Citadel versus Dowg fans. I'm going to call them Dowg fans. I know some people just say Dog, but Dowg fans sounds funny, so we're going with that for me. I think Citadel should probably take this one. They looked amazing yesterday against Respawn, and I can't really say Dowg fans who have had the time yesterday to actually be able to watch these teams, you know, they have to have prepared something pretty special if they want to take down Citadel in this one, and I'm not sure if I trust them with that, considering the kind of experience gap between these two teams. You know, Barrick, Link, King, Clueless, Protoss, Nightstar, these people have been in the scene for a long time, but, you know, when you're comparing it to the caliber of Philip, Armeo, Bradley, Instinct, Trevor, some of these players going up into Tier 1 in LCS, or, you know, even just a mainstay of NACL, I could see it being pretty difficult for them to navigate this matchup. But crazier things have happened in this OQ.
Yeah, there's certainly been some greater discrepancies and losses versus the ranks of the teams. And so this one is going to be that big experience difference that we have here across the board, basically. So that does make it a bit tough, but we do have, you know, some experienced members on the side of Dowg, and we have some rising stars. So, you know, maybe a bit of luck of the Irish is going to come through and help them, but they do only have to pull 2 wins in this series here. So in terms of being able to win, it's not completely out the window. It's going to be mistakes from the side of Citadel, but do you think it's possible, Golden Gad?
Definitely do think it's possible. Some of the kind of champion choices, especially from players like Protoss and Barrick, can be a little bit weird and out of the ordinary. So if you're not really prepped for some of the carries that Barrick can pull out, or some of the weirder mage bot lane supports there for Protoss, it could definitely get a little bit tricky there, but they at least have some reliable players in King Clueless and Lycamos to kind of round out that composition here. As now we're seeing some bans come through, some pretty targeted stuff, at particularly the flexibility of the bot lane. It looks like on the side of Citadel, they're banning out Zyra, Tristana, Corki. You do still have strong AD carry options, but they're just going to lock in the Victor, something a little bit different. So I'm pretty surprised to see B1 Victor in this current state of the meta, but maybe they just have a read that Lycamos would like that champion.
That is a very bold first pick here, especially since Varus is up, just got snapped away. Makes a lot of sense to go for the Varus as well. Skarner is still available. They did ban away Armau on the Volibear. I think that makes a lot of sense. You saw the game yesterday. Did good work on that champion. But, I mean, Victor kind of says, and they also grabbed the Maokai, so Victor kind of says, like, team fight already. I feel like this is a super early pick in the draft.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit early here. They are going to go with the Varus Maokai, so some nice long-range engage options. And we're going to see Kalista, maybe with Renata, something like that. Very aggressive, could be something that
Nico.
kind of exploit. Yeah, Nico as well. We saw that a little bit yesterday, actually. Maybe not with the Callista, but just as a pairing in general. So we could see that come through. I'm surprised to see the Sejuani get locked up here, considering how many Premier AD champions are available still. But Armeo wants to play that Sejuani, and that means that a lot of the top lane pool that could be supplemental here could really get shrunk down. It's going to be Talia locked up, very powerful as a kind of answer to Victor, has a bit of the push advantage come level 8 or so could potentially get some of those good roams with that Weaver's Wall. And yeah, I mean, I think it's shaping up pretty good for Dowg fans. I really do like the champions they picked so far.
All right, they're going to remove the Pantheon in the bot lane as well. Renata Ban makes a lot of sense here. Sejuani, I think, is a pretty good pick into the Varus. Immobile AD carry can hit that long-range CC snipe to start off a good team fight. Callista into Talia, though. I mean, look, this is not an easy thing to play around. Plus the Maokai, Callista is short range. So do you think Instinct has gotten this game, or they have some secret strategy here?
I mean, they have to have something special for the support position. I mean, at the very least, yeah, the Nico is still up as an option. But I could really see something like a Braum being pretty good. And there's the Nico gone, snapped away. That's a pretty strong pairing on the bot side. You still have the Varus, so that's just going to be a really solid kill bot lane here. And, you know, your options are kind of getting lower. You could go stuff like Karma potentially as a little bit more of a poke option to survive it, but it's still going to be pretty difficult. They're going to go for the Renekton, so you have a very reliable 2v2 on the top side with that Renekton Sejuani. But Dowg has counter pick, and as I said, Barrack has a lot of options, and they're going to go for the Senna. A little bit more of a scaling option. Also has some pretty good presence in lane against Nico in particular.
So there is something that I do like about the Senna. Obviously better laning than like something like a Nautilus. But when Senna gets hit playing aggressively with the Chains of Corruption, there's a nice escape for the Senna in that Callista. So if they play this lane really well, and honestly, we're looking at them as the more experienced lane. They have close to stronger early lane prowess, especially in the 1-3. Are we looking for some bot side domination on the side of Citadel?
Yeah, definitely would expect that to some degree, but I've seen Varus Nico get out of this matchup just fine, and I think they could definitely continue that. But, you know, it really depends on what the angles are for both of these junglers, Armeo and King Clueless. Obviously playing more supplemental, a little bit more reserved, not many of those carry options on the table here. So it's going to be, are they going to match up on the top side, or are they going to focus towards making sure that the bot lanes with these poke mages are going to be surviving? But we have a swap up. I thought that was a visual glitch, but I guess maybe the order of people are different in this lobby. So Nightstar on the Varus, I'm pretty sure still bot lane. It's just swapped up.
So it's a it's a role swap for both. Okay, we got to swap back. All right, Lagavas is going mid lane. It would have been a very interesting strategy, but I don't think it would have made... Well, Varus into Victor could have been interesting, but it's not happening. So, for the side of Citadel, I'm seeing really strong bot lane, really strong top side. Mid lane, obviously, they're going to have to take a back seat. So when you're in the situation, Golden Gad, like, what do you want to see a team do where they have really strong sides, but the mid lane has to take a bit of a step back?
Definitely. I mean, I think you just force it out. Especially, you need to get this Renekton ahead so that you can really dominate this very classic 2019-esque Aatrox Renekton matchup. So I definitely think I would personally prioritize towards that top side if I was Citadel, just to get this Renekton on the table. So that also makes Varus's life a lot more difficult if Sejuani is coming on you, as well as a Renekton. It could be very hard to navigate some of these fights, but bot lane already with a bit of action.
Dodge.
Yeah, very good.
Dodge. And they're going to win this extended trade, that is for sure. And they are aware that if they go for the all-in level 1, that is not such a good idea against this bot lane.
Yeah, the sustained advantage will always go towards the Senna with the help of that Q, so really you don't want to be taking so much free damage if you are the Varus Nico side. So Instinct and Trevor really navigating this pretty well, or at least getting some of his damage through. But, you know, Nightstar is doing a good job of at least getting that damage that sticks onto the Callista, so...
And Trevor playing very aggressively, as they should. Now, the key thing here is going to be those junglers, so where are they going to go? Early ganks could really mess things up for either of these bot lanes here, but as we can see, Citadel pushing in on both sides here. I think this makes the jungling very difficult on the side of Dogs. Or Dowgs.
Yeah, I think if I saw it properly, they're both pathing towards that bot side, so expect some action. Armeo is going to get spotted out on one of these deep wards early on, but they do have intel on that for Citadel, so, you know, both paths should be aligned here. But Maokai, with the info that Sejuani took the Raptors there is actually going to go for a flash over the wall here from King Clueless. Very aggressive, but it might be just enough to get this play.
Oh, Instinct and Trevor. Now they realize what's going on. King Clueless, level 3, right onto the Senna. No ultimate to save the day just yet. Oh, they went for a risky play. Instinct's not going to get punished, though. And Protoss was in kill range. Unfortunately, wasn't able to pull that off for the first blood. And the early gank does come through, and that is kind of the problem with a very strong early push.
Yeah, I mean that was a a great call out there from King Lewis just to commit the flash early on to get into the position to guarantee that kill over. And now they're harassing Armeo after Armeo wants to try and find some gold back, so he's trying to get for an invade onto the Maokai. But the bot lane sticking around means it's going to be a little bit more difficult for them to navigate that. Trevor now walking up. Has to be
Trevor playing
careful.
super aggressively, does get hit by the snare. Nice start is cutting it back. They are low. Now we have them out here, and it's going to be the pickup from Instinct. They did stick around a bit too long, and unfortunately, the kill goes over to Callista right into Instinct's hands. Not ideal for the side of Dogs.
Yeah, they do defend the invade. That is what they were trying to do, but losing a player definitely not worth it at the end of the day. So that's going to put them in a bit of a gold deficit early on, despite getting that first kill. First blood, it's in a weird spot right now. It doesn't matter actually at all besides a normal kill. So definitely,
yeah, they definitely reduced the 300 gold is a huge nerf to that first blood here.
So it's definitely less
Scepter,
impactful. Yeah,
that's
that's
Scepter,
true.
that's pretty good. Increased sustain, and there's going to be no sustain on the reciprocal side here, as we do have the tempo advantage. King Clueless is starting to catch up just a little bit, but Armao clearly has the tempo in the jungle right now.
Yeah, just going over and clearing that top side now. Aatrox TPing back. This could be a pretty vulnerable position for either of these top laners as they just committed both of those TPs. So seeing both the junglers in this area makes a lot of sense. Bradley and Lycamaz just been trading it over. No one generating that large of a CS lead. I mean, a little bit over towards Bradley and Nico sneaking up.
Oh, and here is the snare, the stun combo. Bradley does have flash, but probably going to hold it. Doesn't seem likely that there's an escape there, so good save on the resources, but does give over a kill. And that's twice we've seen the play, the initiative from the side of Dowg, which is a great sign for them, and they are getting rewarded.
Yeah, nice heads-up play there from Protoss, and you don't really lose that much considering there was a bit of a freeze on the bot lane anyways. You can't walk up to that wave right now. So now with the shove coming back through, Protoss just in time to catch this. So honestly, a really good heads-up play, and maybe a little bit of uncoordination there from Bradley, just not realizing the timing there. But in the meantime, Armeo, with the help of the push from the bot side, able to claim up this Drake, no problem at all. So that is at least a great sign moving forward.
All right, Philip, level 6 to Barrick does finally catch up there. Bit interested to see what's going to be happening up the top lane, but this is probably going to be a Dragon secured. King Clueless is on the top side, and I do see that Philip has used the ultimate so as Barrick matches, but it looks like it's just going to be an objective trade. However, do you think they're going to be able to get 3 out of this trade?
I mean, they're running pretty quickly. With the HP coming back, I think King Clueless is just going to have to back off. Philip is pretty low with no ult, as you called out. Going forward, flash
there's
forward.
the stun flash combo, and they get it! They're going to be able to pick up a kill. Lycamaz is here, though. Can they escape from the situation? Stun not going to land, not going to get the combo off, and they're going to just walk their way out. And they do pick up 2 grubs on the side of Dogs. However, it is going to cost them. Lycamaz is hanging around. The flash ultimate going to be followed by flash from Lycamaz. And that was quite a bit of sudden action here, but I like the way both teams are playing. No one's really overplaying their hands as of yet.
Yeah, leveraging the really strong combo there of the Renekton Sejuani to just instantly delete King Clueless, who still doesn't have flash after committing it earlier on that play. Now having it back up, so really good awareness there, and maybe a little bit of an overstay from King Clueless there is going to afford them a bit of an opportunity, and Armeo is already back in the area. There's no ward here.
No flash stun. Can they get the Arctic Assault? That is going to be dodged, but it is not going to be enough because of that stacking. And there's the 2v2 on the top being displayed again. Oh, we have an early Executioner's Blade on this Renekton here to prevent that healing.
Yeah, so a lot of that sustain cut down already. And, across the map, I think it's looking really good for Citadel. They've stabilized all of their lanes, and they're generating quite a bit of a lead in mid and top. So They're actually definitely pulling away with this one. So Dowg's going to need to have a couple more of those heads-up plays. Could really see something with the Nico as soon as level 6 comes through, maybe being their angle to find something. They also have the Chains of Corruptions, and now with the Maokai ult coming online, definitely a bit more opportunity to be able to, find some big plays, but there's really... All the lane states are not that easy to actually be able to force something unless it's going to be a dive.
Yeah, they do need that time, especially to power up the Varus damage as well. Maokai, we know, is the ultimate team fighter in the jungle role. That ultimate is just so good, but they do have some answers on the side of Citadel, so we'll see how this is being played out. Armao just going to go straight for the Scuttle Crab. Conclusive is here, going to pop out of the jungle, going to use the W to snare it up. Lycamaz is around the corner. Armao has to Arctic Assault over the wall, huge cooldown, but no punish.
Yeah. Now they're just going to be able to grab up this Scuttle, but it looks like they might just try and look for a play here on the bot side. Clueless has the ult. So
Yeah.
if Instinct walks up for any of those minions.
Trevor has walked up here. It is going to be the Chains of Corruption, not on the Senna, as well. It's going to be followed up by a triple combo from the ultimates, and there was no escape. And they knew King Clueless was in the bot side of the river, just not respecting that. But they were in a bit of a tricky lane state situation.
Yeah, with no cleanse, it becomes a lot harder to actually play this one out for Instinct. Barely getting clipped, actually, by the Maokai ult, so just goes down. But that's a little bit of that proactivity with the help of those really long-range ultimates.
Oh, one more tick probably would have done it there, but that is going to be escaped from Lycamos.
Yeah, still going to get some of that prio. Going to force the TP out of the Talia, so Bradley's going to have some nice tempo here moving forward. Going to also grab up a plate, so getting more gold into this Victor's pocket is definitely very influential. And, with Talia spending a bit of time walking down, now 15 CS up.
All right, Barrick is going to be ult up onto Philip here, using that ult to just get the wave in, secure the lane state here. Lycamaz back in the mid lane, Bradley and Trevor here. Looks like the Nico wasn't counted for. I didn't see it coming either, as that is going to be another kill. Protoss on this Nico is just such a menace.
Yeah, definitely keeping it in this one. Only 300 gold down and shutting down that Victor, which was getting pretty out of control pretty soon here. So now they have a bit more tempo and really, yeah, Protoss has been hitting everything you'd ever want to see out of a Nico support. So I have to see if that continues moving forward. I think at this point
it's such a clever way to counter Roam's mid. It's just to follow the wave on the Nico, and you usually want to make plays on the wave right away as well. So it's just super smart. And unfortunately, they're not ahead in gold, but I mean, what a great play again.
Yeah, and the cool thing about Nico always is if you are ever transformed, it doesn't show up on the mini map.
Right,
Instinct though
here does get caught up. They are not going to be able to follow up on this wave, and now the turnaround as well. King Clueless is going to drop Lycamaz. Can they get away? Trevor is stunned. Is quite low. Nico coming in again. Do they have the kill? Yes, that's one. Armao now trying to get out of here. They do pick up Trevor. The Senna has fallen. They're trying to get this. They're trying to get the Sejuani. A bit of a dodge fest, but isn't able to escape.
Yeah, Protoss with another play to actually be able to even up that kill, despite a bit of an overstay potential. Yeah, Bradley just taking that turret, uncontested to the Victor, getting some free time to scale up. But yeah, I think this is looking pretty decent for Dowg. They also grab up 3 grubs there, so they have actually just 3. They dropped 1, so they aren't gonna. No one's gonna be getting that Void Might, but at the very least, they do get some of that extra damage over time in their pockets. So I think this is a pretty interesting game state. 20 point, pretty much exactly even in gold. And I mean, I think I'd feel pretty good about Dowg fans right now. They have the gold in all the right places, I'd say. Aatrox maybe going to be a bit behind in the side lane. Instinct going to force the flash out of Nightstar.
Oh, that is giving an aggressive ultimate usage from Instinct here. Oh, that snare barely misses. And this is potentially, if they were to fight here, 5v5, 4v4, it'd be a huge breaking point in the game. Instinct is getting chunked low, so this is making the proposition of Dragon quite difficult, as it looks like this might be a give.
Yeah, they're not really committing fully for this one. Looks like Armao still wants to be in the area to steal, and with Bradley teeping over, I could really see them going for it. Protoss now getting rooted up by the clone, so still not going to be able to make any big plays. Instinct has both summoner spells, so this is going to be a pretty explosive fight.
No, they're getting funneled here. This is quite the dangerous position. And it looks like with the healing... Oh, wait a minute. Now it looks like they're looking onto Instinct here. Flash over the wall is not going to be hit up by the pebbles, and so now is free to fight back. Protoss is in trouble. They're going to be looking for the engage here. Flash W with the knockback, but it is going to be traded over. They lose an important carry. Protoss is trying to walk away. King Clueless is going to blast cone over the wall. Does get hit up by the stunner. Mao just immediately flashes over. Trevor can't find the last auto. The snare finds Armau. Arctic Assault. Do they give it over? Meanwhile, on the other side, King Clueless has been slain. Bradley's there. Doesn't get the kill, but is going to be able to take command of this mid wave. And that, I mean, I wasn't really counting, but who won on that scenario?
It looks like it's going to be a Citadel win for that one. They do grab up the Drake as well as an extra kill for themselves. So definitely a great look here. Bradley just walking forward, knows no threat is impossible.
Supreme confidence, but it might be punished with the barrier. It isn't even trade, but that is the shutdown going over to Bradley. So I guess that is a win for Citadel in that mini situation.
Yeah,
Wait, bot lane. Hold up, we have a bit of a gank situation going on. Like Amaz has been trapped on both sides, does get the knockback on Instinct, but no pebbles to follow up, no damage, and no escape.
Yeah, this is a bloodbath so far. We're at over a kill a minute so in this one, so really a lot of action going on, and it's definitely not happening around top lane, that's for sure. It's been mostly centered around this bot lane. And it makes sense to me, you know, most of your engage is coming out of that side, as we do get a bit of a replay here to see what ended up happening. I mean, a little bit of a disconnect here. Lycamaz goes for a Talia wall onto Instinct as King Clueless ults, but that's an ult to block off the rest of your team, so no one can really join at the same time. And Protoss doesn't have the flash to be able to go for a big engage here. King Clueless at least following the flash of Bradley to be able to KO Instinct on the backside. But it's still looking a bit rough. Protoss eventually does end up surviving, but has to...
Bradley just cuts off the choke there.
Yeah.
There's just no follow-up. So that was just supreme control mage play from Bradley, understanding that if they walk through the choke, they can win the fight, and just completely negates that.
Yeah, so very well played there. Protoss looking for something, anything, but it is in, of course, warded. And yeah, we're back to where we were on the replay. Talia getting pinged out here. They may be looking for a bit of a play, but it is warded now towards that Otacon pit. Bradley making Victor look like a strong pick here, and it was their first pick, but nice ult here from King Clueless.
All right, it is basically just caught up here. Maokai gonna go ahead, unleash the Q right into the Pebbles combo. Lycamaz has to walk out of here. Does dodge Trevor's ultimate at the last second.
Yeah, pretty close there.
Like we might have a bit of continuation here. Amao's looking for it. They're feeling aggressive. They want some revenge.
Yeah. I will say the Seraphs there coming in clutch for Lycamaz to be able to survive. King Clueless now isolated.
Clueless does get hit by the Bola, and now it's just going to be the damage fest into the Rend. Instinct picking up that kill again here.
Every time you think that Dowg has a window, Citadel hits them right back with it. So definitely a bit close. Protoss!
Oh, flash into the Nico ultimate. Trevor here, Armau is also super low. And just what a great opportunity that Protoss has found. I mean, kind of looking like a star player here.
Yeah, definitely finding every single play so far in this one. I mean, kill participation-wise, really up there, only missing 2 for this game. So, I mean...
From support? That's nice.
I know, from support, for sure. Definitely a surprising one. And this is a very interesting game. It's every time one team feels like they get ahead, it's either evened up immediately or someone pulls away again. So it's just constant action. So now they're going to look towards the Rift Herald. That is now the objective of focus. I'd like to see, you know, generally I always like Rift Herald where you stall taking it a bit just so you can convert that into something like an Otacon, or maybe trade it for something on the map now that the power has been reduced a little bit. So seeing King Clueless back off a bit here with no big lane prio in mid. Looks like they're looking on to Instinct here. Not going to be able to land that E from Protoss, so still.
I don't think Protoss has hit a single bad Pop Blossom this entire game. I think it's been at least 3 people, or like everyone on the screen in visible range. So maybe shouldn't have let that through. We'll have to see how this game plays out here. But the kills are in the favor of Dowg, but the neutrals are in the favor of Citadel.
Yeah, and they definitely had the option to do it, but Philip just solo killed Barrack on the top side. I don't know what's up with that, but that's the Renekton doing work. Has the Black Cleaver in tow as well as some of that healing redux. So just a better long how would I call it, long trade pattern than the
Yes.
Aatrox. So
That's the Felipe diff up in the top side there, showing rearing its head. Mid lane, though, this is going to be a fight for the prio. It is going to be a fight for this dragon. Like a Moz, rooted up by Trevor. Instinct is finding an opportunity, flashing in. Arctic Bola goes wide. And this is supreme confidence from Citadel yet again. Has burned them a couple times, but it looks like when it's time to fight for that objective, it is really proving its value.
yeah. King Clueless wants to find some sort of engage here, but is just spotted out on so much good vision from Citadel. They're really covering all their angles here. They're just going to start up the Drake. They're going to give up the mid wave. They've elected, hey, we'll just, I guess, give up our tower for taking this Drake. We don't want to get them to soul point here this early on in the game. So that's going to be the trade, but they're also going to get Rift Herald on the other side. So they have a lot of pressure.
All right, the 80 carry roam coming in from Instinct. Philip is super low. We have a bit of an overcommit. Wasn't paying attention to the map, and that is another solo kill from Philippe in the top side. And I mean, the crocodile is becoming a bit of an issue.
Yeah, and here's that solo kill. Philip able to just kind of bait in Barrack a little bit. Ends up using the
nice
E,
dodge.
so I guess Barrack thought had enough damage here, but just a long extended play. The healing reduct definitely putting in the work here and just gets a full kill. Does commit the flash on top of it, so not exactly as clean as you would have liked, but still securing that, definitely great to see on that top side.
Yeah, that's a back-to-back solo bolos. I know Instinct was putting pressure, but not really much damage there. As we have, it looks like the mid lane is still up. Unfortunately, kind of a bit of a thorn in the side of Citadel, so I think they're going to be working towards that in the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, they're looking to make a play on the bot side here with the Nico and the Maokai onto Bradley. Has a lot of safety with the help of that shield, but it's not enough with this many players on the bot side.
Yeah, I don't have to play-by-play that. Bradley's just gone. But
yeah,
they've been targeting Bradley here in the mid lane. Obviously, on the Victor is a good target to go for. Still going to be that super strong team fight mage later portions of the game, so they're going to have to use their strength somewhere. As King Clueless now getting caught hanging around the river, and it's going to be the full 3-man of Citadel picking up that kill. Instinct slowly but surely getting stronger in this game.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Every time a play happens on Bradley, King Clueless is usually soon to follow, which is just very funny to watch. Now, our Otacon being started up here, there's really no one in the area besides this Nico and this Varus, and with Bradley TPing down, I find it very difficult for any contest to actually occur here for Dowg.
Barrack does not have TP, so they might be just trying to keep them interested in this Otacon. Meanwhile, Barrack's going to get a turret. That's the idea. Oh, wait a minute. Look at this flank coming in for Philippe here. Just waiting for the Croc to make a grand entrance. And that is going to be the kill just like that. Nightstar is gone, and that is the team fight over in just one kill.
Yeah, they checkmated them by killing King Clueless early on. There's no big contest to be had. And then afterwards, with that good vision controls. That control ward, I swear, has been alive for maybe 10 minutes, I'd say. No one's really contested it, so using that to just get a nice TP flank, it's going to spell the end of that fight and any of its potential benefits here, as now Talia just getting chased down. Going to get sniped away by Trevor, so...
Like a Moz is going to fall as well. And yeah, it does look like Dowg are just leaking kills left and right here, and it's kind of ruining their opportunities to take hold of this game.
Yeah, they've established a good map presence. They've taken down 3 turrets, but I'm sure the rest are soon to follow here. As you see how Lycamon went down, Philip just comes back for more, wants to find the Talia on the backside, gets the nice empowered stun, and that is so much damage here. Eventually just gets chased out. Wow, okay, come on now, Philip. That's an Honor 5 recall, by the way. That's an Honor 5 recall.
Oh, that is crazy. Well, yeah. Not much honor in that one. This is a very scary Croc, and also very fast. Can just walk straight at your mage and get a kill. So
Yeah.
Should be very worried. I mean, that's after just one setup kill here. I'm now looking for another play. Nightstar now forced to flash. That's going to make this dragon extremely difficult. If your Varus doesn't have a flash, how can you play this fight?
Yeah. They're leaking resources, not just kills as well. So at the very least, they're gonna look for a play here onto Philip. Does have flash and the dominus, so it's gonna be pretty difficult to have the damage stick here.
Oh, Chains of Corruption goes wide, and now they're going to be straight onto Nightstar, who gets caught out. They thought they had Philip, but they were wrong. Philip had you right where you wanted. And that is going to be another kill picked up. And it's just looking like Citadel in the mid game. That experience is coming through here. They're just outplaying around the map. Left and right. Trevor looking for more damage here. Lewis is hanging around the side. But, I mean, that experience coming through here, Glumgad, it's just looking like it's pulling through. As we have another kill. Legamaw's going down mid lane. It's just destruction all over the map. What can you do if you're Dowg?
There isn't much to do. They're looking for some stuff still, but this could be a potential inhibitor if they aren't very careful. They are getting forced down pretty low.
200, and it is definitely going to fall. They could just walk back to the dragon. Easy take here. That's a massive map lead right now, as well as a gold lead. 2 turrets. They're going to get the dragon. Actually, 3 for cleaning bot side there. So there's just a huge spike and just great plays, a series of plays from Citadel.
Yeah, I think they got about 5,000 net gold above Dowg in just that one play. So grabbing up so much resources here just from some smart map movements and kind of covering your bases there. And Citadel's going to pull away with a very large lead as this first Baron is going to spawn in just 30 seconds with a lot of the resources from the carries of Dowg down, particularly that barrier and that flash from Nightstar. This could be a pretty impossible fight. They're going to need to find a pick early on, which they haven't had difficulty with, but it's sealing the deal afterwards, which they definitely struggled to actually be able to get. Armeo now just wanting to take down King Clueless. They know they have map presence on this.
Oh, and there's just no allies in sight for this Maokai. That's going to go ahead and lead to another kill. Lycamaw is making an appearance, a little drive-by. Armao going to hop over the wall, doesn't have the Bola, but is going to slow with the W. Lycamaw's is going to be able to escape into the forest, but this is leaving the Baron all but exposed, and they have a Callista.
Yeah, all but secured here, and even in the meantime, Barrick's going to try and take down this bot lane turret to get some gold back, but the net play here for Citadel is so dominant. They forced out the entire team of Dowg out of their topside jungle just to be able to claim this up, and Bradley now even responding to deny even the smallest of slivers of gold over to Dowg, so Citadel is cleaning up house here, and I think we aren't too far from the end of this one.
Yep, looks like Citadel in a commanding position in this game. Oh, Philip getting stunned up here. He's going to get the next dice. Going to land the stun, and with Armao around the corner, that's going to be another kill. Turret's going to go down shortly. Barrick TP'd into their own doom, as that is a huge call of the meek from Philip and Armao. They're just going to keep it going. Look at the sustain. Their HP bars aren't dropping. They could just keep this going 3v5 eventually. And it just looks like there's no end to this crocodile. Protoss is, solo walking up by themselves. Armao has no mana, but it's just so tanky from all these bonus stats. We have Instinct flashing in, and it looks like they're going to be going for the throat here as they pick up another kill on the support. Now Nightstar, the Bola comes back up, and they get an ace. By the way, Bradley wasn't even there. That was mostly a 3v5. As this is going to be a clean victory from the side of Citadel, as Philippe kind of just ruined that moment there, as well as Instinct. Okay, guys. All right.
I mean, Bradley's still here to try and end the game, but I mean, maybe they just gave away their opportunity.
You know they call it caster curse, right? But that was a team curse. They cursed me. It was the other way around.
they want a couple more minutes to play it out, but I mean, this is triple inhib. All the resources over to Citadel. I think Citadel did a great job in that fight, and yeah, as you pointed out, Bradley and Instinct weren't even there for most of that fight. You know, those are the 2 carry threats that we've been hyping up this whole time, and no, it's Philip, Trevor, and Armeo just cleaning up house on the top side and kind of pulling all 5 members of Dowg over, and it still did not matter at all.
The lone minion charge into the jungle. as Protoss is going to be looking for something. Barracks around the corner. As well, I mean, 3 inhibs down, so this game should be going over to Citadel. They could try their best to mount a defense on the side of Dog, but
Yeah, I think they have
you
one more
know,
push with this Baron. If they all just group up mid, they at least have one wave to play with. But it looks like with Bradley backing, they're just going to stall it out. They don't want to try and overforce. They're just going to push out all these waves, try and sync them up to actually push out. But now, got to be careful, like Amaz. Philip is dangerous and will go for the throat.
Philip has been doing so great in the past 2 games. The last series as well was absolutely destructive on the Gragas, and now the Renekton looking super nasty as instincts engage. Also going a bit wide, the root in the kill. Look at the shields! You can't even get the Callista, who's super squishy. Chains of Corruption does stall, does delay their death here on the side of Nightstar and King Clueless. Sorry, Protoss, I got swapped by the Nico. Flash, Arctic Assault, it looks like they're just going to go ahead and send this one home here as we have them falling left and right. Barrack, last one around this Nexus here is healing a bit, but will surely fall as well. And it is going to be another team ace as Citadel puts the leash on the Dogs.
Yeah, Dowg's taking a pretty big loss here. They're going to have some very important recoveries to make out of that one because Citadel definitely made it a pretty quick one, sitting at about 27, 28 minutes. So, I mean, definitely more looking great as they go forward. I mean, they need to win out 2 series here, and they're in NACL. It's not going to be easy for the next series, that's for sure. But this one, they're making quick work of it so far. And I'm curious to see what Dowg has in their books, but I mean, they weren't exactly playing that poorly, and I think they still fell pretty far down in this one.
I think the story can be accurately told through this gold graph here, Golden Guide. If we take a nice look, back and forth, looking pretty even. We even see some red, but we're going to notice at that mid game a very steep incline, and so. When you're playing against a team who's just so much better than you in the mid game, what are going to be your solutions here?
Yeah, it will be those kind of lane dominant picks, I'd say, but they really didn't find it anywhere. They picked the Aatrox as the counter pick into the Renekton. Did not work out in that way. It did stabilize it a little bit until suddenly the pressure valve exploded, and Philip was allowed room to just take over the map. And then besides that, you had their first pick on their side, and you didn't really get that lane advantage either, with Callista Senna being able to establish that lane very effectively. So, I think they have to win these lanes early on because they have that kind of disparity. But also, I think they also let loose some kind of more free kills over to Citadel that really put them in a problem. As you could see, the graph went, back in their favor and then straight back into Citadel's every single time. So you can't be giving away those free opportunities to a team who will definitely take advantage of them.
All right. Well, it's going to be up to Dogs to prevent Citadel from getting that commanding lead over the map in the next game, or else they're going to just be putting them away in the cage, going to be telling them to, they're in trouble as well. So that's going to be it for me here, as I should be making my exit, but not for everyone else as we get back to game number 2 and the regular scheduled programming.
Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right?
Welcome back, everyone, to Game 2. I am obviously not Crims, but I was meant to be here. I'm very sorry for being late, but we do have Golden Gal with us, who has held down the fort. We're not going to say Crims did well, because I'm not allowed to be nice to him, but very excited to jump in to the second game here, where CIT, they looked very dominant from what I saw back in the... I'm going to say the back of production. I'm going to say we have a backstage where I can sit and watch, but they looked very dominant. It was crazy. They just kind of came in, took over, mid-game diffed. Right?
Yeah, for sure. They completely took over the map as soon as Dowg gave any opportunity post about 15 minutes. It just felt like it was Citadel the entire time. Now, there were some times when Citadel was looking a little bit more rough in the early game. I think Bradley especially got caught out a ton in the side lane, which could really be a focus going forward for Dowg. But at the same time, right as soon as they'd find something on Bradley, someone on Dowg would make an unfortunate error right afterwards to throw it back over. So, you know, I think if Dowg really wants to take this, they need to have thought about that game in a kind of holistic view. Okay, we can actually compete with them as far as getting some early picks and being able to match some of the early map movements. But if we give them too many opportunities, this is a team that can very easily capitalize on it. So seeing some more buttoned up early games will definitely be something that I'm looking forward to from Dowg if they do want to win this series and continue and keep their NACL qualification, in option.
An option, yeah. They have to keep something in contention here. They don't want to go out in a 2-0. That's the worst way you can go out. And against a team like CIT, you do have that little bit of pressure as well, because obviously everyone kind of knows Armao. Like, there is someone there that is a household name, I guess, in the NA scene. Some people remember him for just smiting things. I think other people remember him for Sejuani, but Sejuani's gone. And that's how things go in Fearless. So there might be an opportunity now for King Clueless to find something. I did see that first gank while I was on my way back, where it was just like, I'm going to flash over this wall, we're going to go bot lane, see what happens. And it worked. They got an advantage. They just couldn't turn it into something, especially into a Kalista lane. Kalista is very good at surviving. You hop, you dodge, you stay back, and you can also protect your support. So I think I want to see more of that from King Clueless, but maybe a little bit more controlled. You could have walked into that bush. You didn't have to really expend the flash, but for the rest of the game, Bradley getting caught, if that's something you know happens often, maybe kind of sit around mid a little bit more, give a little bit more to Lycamaz. There's a good chance there's a carry potential there. It's just, are you going to pick a Silas and go for it? Or are you going to stick to something more traditional like a Syndra and just go for that one shot?
Yeah, and the thing really to note there is, as you said, King Clueless, did you really have to flash over that wall? Well, guess what? Philip and Armeo punished you 3.5 minutes later before your flash was back up to actually take that kill on the grub. So this is a team you cannot mess around with when you're playing. Because Citadel, they're very experienced across the board. Philip spent his time a little bit in the FlyQuest Academy previously, so has some experience there. And then besides that, I mean, Instinct and Bradley have been around in the scene forever, so seeing them take game one is not too surprising for me. And they have a lot of the pressure. Coming into this tournament, they were supposed to be one of the big favorites to make it out, and then they instantly fell in round 2 against Friendly Fellas, which could potentially be their matchup next game, depending on how it goes. So they really have to lock in here, and they've been looking better as the tournament has gone on. They've also played the most games in the qualifier of any team because they went so early down to the loser's bracket and kind of stayed alive throughout that. So having that experience could really put them at a big advantage here. And Dowg, if I'm thinking, hey, you guys are a bit of an X factor. You guys almost made a qualification, but you barely lost to Apex Mission on that top side of the bracket to get that final slot. And they played pretty well besides that. I think one of the strongest points has been that bot lane for me with Protoss, especially in support with very unique picks like the Heimerdinger previously. So I could really see that being an angle for them. They need to win bot lane, but that didn't really happen in the last game until a little bit later on in the game, and at that point, it felt like Citadel was getting the small advantages they needed to really close out that one.
And I do want to talk to you about that bot lane just a little bit more, because we see here from the graphic we have a lot of bans coming through with the Zyra can be flexed, Trist, bot or mid, and then we have the Corki bot or mid. So that's a good little bot selection there. And then you don't see the Ashe coming out in response to a Varus. So Victor, Varus, Maokai, that's immediately saying a lot of CC, a lot of control. You don't see the Ashe going, I can counter that, and they don't go Ashe Braum. Is there any ADCs that you think might be a little bit worrying now for Dowg going into the second one if they don't end up taking that Ashe in the early pick or in the early one? Because Ashe should be the priority ADC in this one. Do you think they need to take this, or are they going to hand it over on a blue side pick?
Especially with how they play, I think they really should prioritize getting that Ashe. So moving over to that blue side, since they did lose the last one, could be definitely a great option. But there are things like Xayah that are available, which could really put a wrench in this plan. But Dowg is going to stick to their guns. They're going to go to red side yet again. So, and I believe they chose red side last game as well, considering they came from the winner's side. So they are that winner's side. So just if I'm thinking of it correctly, they might have selection. I mean, otherwise it'll be seeding related. I'm not too sure. Either way, they're going to stick to red side, keep it the same. I think the bans are going to be pretty much locked up here. So Volibear, Corki, Tristana, Zyra, these are all things that you do expect. And I will make one shout out, Armeo's traditional match champion pool is pretty cornered now. Maokai, Sejuani, and Volibear all getting taken off the table. You're going to have to go a little bit deeper into your bag of tricks, considering...
Vi, bro. Like, every time it's just Vi.
Yeah,
It's
Vi
going to
for
be
sure
Vi.
is definitely something. And Bradley could always go something like an Ahri. That is definitely something that you could just combo there. Ahri's been pretty reliable on this patch in particular for a lot of mid laners, so I could see that being the option. But, you know, having first pick could be interesting. Last time they actually first picked the Victor, which was pretty interesting for Citadel. I'm not sure if they're going to elect for another strong mage here, or it should just be Ash,
bro.
but...
Has to be. If it isn't Ash, oh my god. Oh, I'm so angry. I'm so angry. Right.
Well, Philip did pretty good.
Hold on. So Darius Shinzao is available alongside priority bots. So like you've handed over Ash. So they're gonna go Karma Caitlyn? No way.
Karma Caitlyn, possibly. It could just be Karma Ash, potentially as well. I don't think you want to play something like a Kaisa. They're just gonna go. So we're just giving the 80 carry up. So they want to get the counter pick, it seems, and for Dowg, since they are choosing something that is Karma, you can actually flex that down to mid, or just keep it in that support position. It's gonna be the Azir lockup here, which does give some options as far as counter picks are concerned, but nothing really comes to mind. That's a pretty safe pick, just like the Victor in the last one. So they've created a bit of a team fighting comp here with just the Mbessa Azir. You can see that already. And there's the setup CC from the Vi. So they have pretty good pick options. You can always combo the execution with that Vi ults to just really single out a single target and take them down. So it could be pretty interesting here. But there's that Darius you called out. So just a nice response here. And that's one of Barrick's champions. You know, this guy always plays carries pretty much 100% of the time. So that's in line with that.
I'm a little bit confused why like we're not seeing like Ash and then like we're not seeing Caitlyn come true, because I know it's going to be the Caitlyn pick. So I'm just a little bit confused because like everyone seems to be really happy right now with going Caitlyn Karma as this weird pseudo like poke lane, and especially into what looks like an all-in engage. You can sit back, you can play it safe. They're also banning out champions that are very good into Caitlyn because Kaisa can break the gap. Misfortune just drops the ult. There's things that stop Caitlyn from getting those like clean shots off. They're going to take away the Jinx as well, but you would want the Lulu or the Braum if you're going to go for the Jinx, so it should be Caitlyn. But are they going to try to take the Ashe away? Because Ashe is the premier pick here in this current moment. But yeah, so Caitlyn, Ashe, and then from there, I don't know, because they've ruined every other prediction. Like, I've gotten some of the champions right, but just in the wrong order. So I'm just going to give up trying right now, Golden God. I just can't get this.
I was gonna say it could be something like a Zeri, but no, it's gonna go for the Jhin, which is definitely not a winning lane, but it should be able to set up some CC. I mean, right now their engage is looking great, but their damage may be a little bit questionable. The Mbessa really has to come online here, and they're going for the double 80 carry bot lane. We're going back. The Jhin Ashe support back in the pocket of Trevor. And I will say, you know, for Protoss, plays a lot of weird mage bot lanes, and it's going to be the Bard. So we're going to get Bard Caitlyn versus Jhin Ashe in 2025.
Is our draft backwards?
No.
Are you sure it wasn't backwards?
There's a lot of things I trust Chris with.
Do you?
And this one I'm sometimes, you know, sorry, that's our producer. Chris loves getting strays. He actually does enjoy them a lot, so we're just going to go straight into this game. No questions asked. Game 2, Citadel versus Dowg fans. Who's going to take it? I'm not too sure. That's we got some question marks definitely over here at the casting desk. As they're going for a cheeky level 1. Barrick spotting it out, walking away just in time. Very fortunate for him.
I'm like stuck in my head now, so I'm like, that has to be backwards. It has to be backwards because it would make sense for like Ashe, Karma, Caitlyn, straight back into like Jhin, Azir, stuff like that. And I'm like, that makes more sense. It just feels backwards. It feels so strange, but this is what we have. And I'm actually kind of excited to see what Dowg are going to do with this, because I like how it's so backpedaled. It's like you can kind of wait for them to come to you kind of style, with the Bard stopping any big Jhin ults or Ashe ults. You can just kind of like save yourself or save someone else. Vi's kind of countered by it as well, so you can kind of buy a lot of time, especially with Jin's out, to knock people back. Karma shields in that later stages, although she won't be going into that Moonstone Renewer build. She will be going more AP. It's still a lot of shielding and healing available to them, so I really like the idea behind it. The thing I don't really like about it is Darius kind of needs something else to like go with him and keep them in place and really hold them down, and they just don't quite have that. And that would be my one kind of misstep there with the Darius. But on the other side, I think Citadel with that Jhin Ashe, the range is exceptional. There's a lot you can do with that if you can set it up right, and Vi and Azir, very good at that.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be who could break that line here for either of these teams. At the very least, Karma, always amazing at enabling some of these champions. You know, my mind goes back to stuff like the Olaf in the past with the Karma. Very similar here with the Darius, you know, very immobile champion, but with a bit of speed up, maybe could potentially find some good angles in some of these fights to take down these very squishy champions. And that's one call out I'd make. Like, Caitlyn previously was running Collector and things like that to really burst out some squishies, but recently, the build has really shifted over towards that Yuntals, a bit more auto attack damage instead. So, you know, I'm curious to see whether we'll go back to the Collectors for a game where there's so many squishy champions on the side of Citadel.
In a game like this with those pseudo tanks, with the likes of Vi and Ambessa, Collector does really shine if you can have someone else helping you do the damage, like the Karma, for example, someone that can layer just another big mantra Q and just hit them with that inner flame, really get them low, and one or two shots from the Caitlyn. But Yuntal is so tasty as an ADC player. It's just so much fun to see the crits go up every single time, and you're just like, yeah, now I'm starting to do damage. So I don't really mind which way the Caitlyn goes, as long as they play the way they want to. Do you want to go aggressive? Do you want to sit back? And right now, aggression, that's an early barrier.
Yeah, just burning it out. They didn't want to take the headshot damage there from Instinct, so just going to be able to get that away. Karma's been able to establish push pretty often, but hasn't really found anything out of it. Vi is a much slower clear than Xin Zhao, so Xin Zhao's just going to grab up this bottom lane scuttle and then look towards a gank on the bot side, but there is a ward already there. Going to go for the recall most likely here, as the wave is shoved in pretty heavily, as Philip and Barrick are just dueling it out. There goes Flash!
Oh my god, I said the ghost so early. It's like he's ghosting, he's going for this, and Philip just did not respect it, just kept kind of like slowly trading little bits back, and then just gets ran down as Darius likes to do. So great work, solo bolo in the top side, and look where the wave is, look how much control Darius has, look at the numbers just sitting there. That lane is going to need so much help.
Yeah, that's the classic there. You know, everyone always says, oh, Mbessa, you know, this is like 2024, 1,000 years of game design, but in reality, when this champ is early game, there are a lot of exploitable windows because the cooldowns are just so long for that champion, and Barrick knows those windows, finds the kill in a pretty clean fashion. Didn't really have to burn too much besides just matching the flash, and, you know, just takes away that one. And this is kind of the opposite tune of the last game. Barrick really didn't find a good position for that game, but finally finding a solo kill on the top side should be a great sign for Dowg moving forward.
A good sign. A breath of life as King Clueless also on the top side. Armao is in the area. They could try and turn this one, but King Clueless does miss the win completely. He goes in anyway, takes a tower shot, and we see Armao does they go for this one. The flash is used. They will burn that one down early, but they cannot catch on. There's Jhin Zhao, still flash available. They will get one. Will they get two? Philip doing their best to kite away as Ambessa's do, and immediately Citadel strike back in the top side.
Yeah, just way too ambitious there for the play. I'm not sure why King Clueless. Maybe they just wanted to shove out the wave and get out, but they didn't really see Armao on the backside there, able to get that initial burst of CC. And with Darius committing a lot of the resources for the fight before, just does not have anything left in the tank and didn't get the time to actually go back and buy up that phage that currently is in that inventory. Protoss now in the area, as soon as Bradley TP's back, gonna do a bit of a chunk here, make that TP a little bit more punished. That is a bit of the trade-off. You can't have as safe of TPs with TPs being unlocked nowadays. So
yeah, it is a crazy change, Golden Gad, that just I don't feel like was needed. TP was in a decent place, but look, it's going to happen. Riot have decided to unbalance everything with their big balancing stick that doesn't work. But look, at the moment, I'm surprised to see that both supports were mid, but didn't opt to try and get any control around those grubs. It looks like Drake is the play here, as we do see King Clueless pulling it into what I like to call the safe jungle zone, where you can escape the easiest from. The only issue with that is if it does get spotted that it's not there, Armao knows exactly where they are, and it is contestable. It's just that mid prio, as like Amaz has been holding that so well. It's going to be very tough for Azir to get there, as we do see Barrick solo starting Grubs as well. So Armao, you have a decision to make here, and he has chosen to recall and try to get to that top side.
Yeah, pretty good use of the time there from Barrack, actually, just to take away one of those grubs, make it not so enticing to commit any members towards the top side now, since you can't get either the Feat of Strength or get to those 6 mites either. So really good heads-up play there, and you can kind of say it's chained off of Protoss. Just, you know, we talked about, oh, you could establish control around grubs, but he just went back to bot to be able to get that push back on their side and clear out the wave in time. Romeo's going to be getting the remainder of the grubs, so not exactly as optimal, but just going to walk towards the top side. Barrack does spot this out. Doesn't have any summoners, though.
Doesn't have any summoners, and the ult is available for Armao that you know that the Vi has 6, you know, you have the vision, you know they're coming, and it's just slowly stepping back. Just run, just get out. But no, they're going to stick around. You will see the pull from King Clueless as they attempt to start these ones up. Mid prio still in favor of Karma. Armao is here to contest. They will clear out some of the small ones, use one of those charges, but no ult available. Still opting in for the straight. King Clueless, I think this is a fight opportunity for you because Jin Zhao is very strong in these early stages.
Yeah, and Armao with no ult should definitely
no health on Karma.
Lose this one. They're very scared of Azir roaming over, but they have the deep vision to at least know when Bradley's coming now. Coming in pretty low, gonna go for the shuffle.
Yeah, it's just an unnecessary overstay. You know that the mid no longer had prio, and you're just going to stick with that when you already lost the prio top. King Clueless, a big mistake there. They do manage to get 2 of the grubs, but is that worth your life in this moment? I don't think so.
Yeah, here we get a replay on what happened on the bot side, as Instinct just gets a nice root up onto Nightstar Lilia, or Leah. Excuse me. And it's just a pretty long extended trade here. Trevor eventually gets stunned up. They do block out the shot here, but just way too much damage for any of Trevor to survive here. Protoss nice dodge away on the W there. Tries to get the flash out and does exceptional there to get the trade out. So I'd say this is pretty good look for Dowg, but the top lane, you know, they had the big advantage on the Darius, but sitting at 1 and 2 now, it's looking a little bit more rough considering this was supposed to be your strong side.
Yeah, with that solo bolo, you expected that lane to heavily go in favor of Darius, but great responses from Armao, and especially in that top side, they seem to be working a little bit better around there. In the bot side, those extended trades will nearly always go in the favor of the team that has heals. Although Bard's heals aren't exactly a Soraka, those heals will make a difference every single time. And yeah, they do turn that around very well on the bot side. Some great work from Instinct to try and get a trade back, but great dodges coming in from Protoss. And Nightstar Lilia just has that damage going into that Yuntal, as you said earlier. I personally would have preferred them to go into the Yuntal. I just think it's a very fun item, and crits are just a better way to play the game. But I'm a Jinx main, so what do I know? But overall, I'm quite happy with how both teams are playing. I just think Dowg are getting a little bit overzealous with some of their looks on how they're playing this one, especially on objectives. But this looks like it could be a very good roam if they can just set up for it. But no ult being used by Protoss. You have to use that soon to stop the shots.
No, just going to tank it up. Doesn't care too much about this early game Jhin damage. I mean, it's a pretty interesting collapse there, but they didn't really have too much of a good opportunity. I was going to make out one last shout out here. Like, a lot of the CC here for Citadel is extremely single target focused, so I think getting another carry on board along with the Darius is extremely important, so they can't just single target lock down your most important member. And they've set it up in a way where Karma, yeah, will do a lot of damage, will have a lot of support capability, but isn't really going to be the main focal point. So you could see the 4-man roam probably in that kind of mindset. They need to get this Caitlyn really rolling to be able to find something, since you think of Mbessa, you think of Vi, you think of Ashe, you think of Jhin. This is all single target as hell, and all that's left would be the Azir. Lycamaz, though, getting focused down. Philip's going to take a big chunk down, but Bradley, this is the trend from the last game, just able to take down a bunch of the HP on the turret as they dive bot.
Yeah, dive bot, and it is just the Ashe getting obliterated. Instinct doing their best to try to trade some of this back. They do have Armao in the area, but do they have the damage? There goes the Caitlyn trap. Will stop Bradley. They are trying to find that Jhin Zhao pings heavily onto King Clueless here. Armao will finally find it, but there comes the Caitlyn ult on the other side of it. But they will take out Protoss in the meantime. Armao does manage to flash over the wall. 1 HP diffed, but King Clueless found by Azir. The Emperor of the Sands will not shield diff, but no, will picked up by Instinct. And it's just all falling apart. 1 HP escape from Armao, who now jumps back over the wall to say, I'm going to take these Raptors too, don't worry about me. That was unfortunate, but exceptionally well played.
Yeah, I think, a little bit of an overcommit there from King Lewis. Use the W instead of just going for maybe the last auto. But either way, that was a good collapse there from Citadel. You saw all the members trying to look for those kills. So we could get a bit of a replay here on how it actually started up here. Trevor already pretty low from the last couple plays. And I think Protoss is just going to go for the nice stun here. Going to miss out on the actual ult there, but still going to get the knock up on that turret. So afterwards, it's a pretty long chase here, but with Caitlyn not really in the area, Armeo does eventually get forced down pretty low. Protoss gets rooted up and killed, so doesn't have the time to actually get the extra auto in for the damage, and the Caitlyn just way too far out from this one. Eventually, they're trying to go for the play here, but Instinct just waiting over the wall to be able to get that kill. And yeah, that puts Citadel in a very commanding position since the Zazir is pretty much fully online.
Yeah, this is how you also do it. You just make sure they're under tower and just trap them to death. That also works. So a great kill there for the Caitlyn, which we said is something that we need to see get rolling quickly for Dowg to really unlock their comp. But on the other side, we do see the Grubs having picked up by Citadel, so that's their first completed objective out of all the ones they need. There's the Bard ult, one trap into just a straight kill. As Trevor, you are a support ADC. You have no HP in these situations.
Yeah, just gets a nice Bard ultimate there just to set up that one. That is the strength of that combo for sure in action. Lycamaz also getting forced out. I will say, in the top side, Barrack did have to burn Ghost after getting public executioned by Philip. And now Armeo trying to find the damage onto Lycamaz, but with King Clueless in the area, they're a bit far forward, so they're just going to call off the play immediately as Bradley has to burn Flash.
Yeah, a good response there for King Clueless to be in the area, as kind of expecting Armao to be around with a low karma and an ult available on the Azir, as Protoss once again getting very aggressive here. We'll have to flash away from the Deadly Flourish, but yeah, it's a kill has happened in the mid lane. Armao decided, regardless of Jin Zhao with a great counter gank, I want to stick around and get this kill, so I'm going to. Crazy.
This is a bloodbath. I mean, the last game was a bloodbath with over a kill a minute for both these teams. Lycamal just walks forward, doesn't expect Armeo to still be in the area, and just gets taken out. Nice block there with the help of the cease and desist. But now Nightstar is trying to find the damage. Trevor, easing up, Instinct gonna flash away, but Trevor, now no man's land, gets taken down.
Yeah, Trevor being the sacrificial lamb that they are, they do go 0-4-4 as we do see another kill head over towards that bot side.
80 carry support. No, sorry.
You're dead right. I completely agree. I am a Jinx player. If I see an Ashe as my support, I am FFing. I am leaving this game. But no, they do manage to pick up the mid tower first in that mid lane. So yeah, that's absolutely brilliant stuff there. Citadel managed to get the second one. They unlock their boots. They get that lovely little upgrade that Riot decided was a good idea. And then on the other side, they nearly got the bot tower in response, but Dowg just not quick enough on the mark for that one. So we will see Citadel get that upgrade. But yeah, it is that kind of classic story of if you can get the Ashe support to work, yes, it is very, very strong. If you end up in a situation like this where you're behind in levels, you're not able to get that ult fully unlocked, and you're not able to constantly send it across the map and find picks, you're not able to keep those slows on the targets that are getting away from you, like even the 45 caliber net coming out, or the 90 caliber net from Caitlyn, it's enough to stop that Ashe from just running you down with that Ranger's focus. So there is a lot Ashe can't do right now. A little bit more time, yes, maybe they'll get online, but it's just a bit worrying when it's going this way.
Yeah, but it is fortunate, at least the rest of the players of Citadel are extremely powerful. You got Mbessa, Vi, and Azir pretty much fully online. You can't really ask for more of a lead here as, we move into this mid game. 2 drags on the side of Dowg, so that could really be their win condition. They're really trying to focus towards this bot side, and I think basically your strong side right now for Dowg is anywhere where Karma is. Seems to be the case. Of course, Armeo is very aware of that, so has been putting a lot of attention towards that side, but definitely has been the one highlight so far for them, as Armeo is just going to take out Barrack on the top side, but a nice ult is going to set up a play in mid.
Bradley's TPing as well. He's going to try to get there in time, as we do see Instinct will fall to the Karma. Strong side indeed, as the Ionian Princess is taking more and more here, but will get knocked back into that tower. Wasn't targeting them, but Azir was. Emperor diffed once again, as we do see Armao now rejoining this mid fight. King Clueless will get eliminated. That ult will not save you, as Crescent Guard does nothing for him there, as Vi is in your range.
Yeah. I mean, this is looking rough.
Titanic Hydra?
That is indeed a Titanic Hydra on Zinja. We're going back into the past for sure.
Into plat? Yes, correct.
Yeah.
That's
Honestly,
not a
that just
challenge to
happens.
build.
Yeah, that's interesting here. As Barrick, yeah, just goes down. Armeo in the area does have the stack, so maybe could turn it, but without the ult there, it's going to be pretty difficult here. As Protoss finds a nice stun. Honestly, as I said in the last game, definitely one of the MVPs in this series so far, but still just hasn't mattered because the carries of, Citadel are just so reliable. Nightstar just autoing the turret. Doesn't even get that as a kind of cherry on the top, but King Clueless goes down. And yeah, it's looking pretty scary. Pretty dire situations for sure. 3k gold down at this point. No feats of warfare either. And you see Armeo. Every time Armeo's on a side of a map, something's happened. And it's most of the time positive for Citadel.
Yeah, Armeo has been having an absolutely stellar game on this fight, always in the right places, as we see Azir flying forward, but not able to quite get in range. Doesn't even have the ult available, it's just trying to get that poke down, setting up the rift. Hit this tower, get everything they can, they will put more pressure on. Yes, constantly is Bard now in a little bit of trouble. Will try and escape from this one. Ults used, and they will go golden. But someone has to step in that way. Someone has to block the shot as King Clueless will, but Armao is still unstoppable now. Once again, flashing over walls, escaping. But you're full HP, you should have been fine. But Philip on the other side now in a 1 versus 2 with Lycomaz now entering the area. Beric has used the ult. They will not be able to set anything else off the back of that one, and they just once again go back to control, standing in front of each other, protecting each other, setting up a perfect Drake, and it gets them on the board.
Yeah, now they're just going to go back towards this Drake. There is going to be a bit of a contest here. Dowg knows that they need this Dragon for their win con. King Clueless is in the area to maybe go for a steal.
King Clueless does get into the pit, but will he be able to spite it away? No, he won't, as he gets publicly executed and set upon by the two all-ins from Arcane. On the other side, they will get a lovely Shurima shuffle onto Beric, and in a trade for nothing, they lose 2 and the Drake.
Yeah, that's a pretty disastrous play here. Now 6k gold. I just said a minute ago, just only 3k up, so they basically doubled that lead just from a couple of extra kills here. Now Protoss is going to walk forward. Armeo is in the area, but that's a Bard that's very powerful.
Oh, but will they be able to get away from this one? As they want to continue this fight, Armao is going to try and step into this one. Will they be able to finish off the Bardians? Get slowed by the trap, but will be able to escape with that flash as the fight is continuing. Philip is in the area. No public execution, but dash on dash on dash, as Ambessa likes to do. But yeah, this just seems like a scrappy moment where they didn't need to. We had Bradley in the bot side, comes away from that split push. Armao just going back over the wall to land on the Protoss, who had already killed Trevor. It just seems like both teams are willing to constantly fight.
Yeah, as now Bradley gonna get back canceled. Nightstar, I don't know if that was so wise, gonna get forced back, but does waste a bit of the Azir's time. As far as the map is concerned, a lot of these side lane turrets are down for the side of Dowg, so they have a lot more leg room to come back into this one to be able to actually take it. I mean, Darius at least has a nice long lane, which is exactly what you want. Barmeo already on the area. I got to imagine that sooner or rather than later, this Darius is going to be the focus of yet another gank.
Yeah, but this does offer an opportunity here that they could try and rush for that Ruinous Atakan in the top side, as Armao, I believe, just got spotted there, but they're going to get the speed boost now from the upgraded scrying plants. But no, Armao is maybe a little bit cautious of that, but on the other side we do see that Protoss has already died, but they are collapsing onto an already dead Instinct. Armao thinking about going in, hovering that powerful Hextech fist, but no, stepping back. But Nightstar, you are out of position here. King Clueless also in trouble as Bradley walking ready, shuffle in. Will they knock? Yes, they will. Trevor also in the area to get those extra slows. King Clueless doing their very best to maybe just try to take a camp, get a little bit of health back, use that smite, but things are getting messy. Will they be able to finish this one off, though, as Beric is in the area? One good pull could set them on disaster, as Darius known for that Noxian Guillotine chain effect. But no, they do manage to get King Clueless out of there. They do take the priority from the Caitlyn. That was your target, and you get it clean.
Yeah, I think Beric's going to go for another play here. Doesn't have Ghost, but has the flash. King Clueless.
will just get deleted by Azir. That is not targeting. You can dash in like that as Bradley doing their very best here, but do they have enough space? No, they don't. Noxian Guillotine set up. Stacks available. Armao slowly ticking down. Bleeding, gone. Shut down, taken. Darius is still a raid boss instinct. Going to try their very best to maybe try rejoin this one. Lycomos could go down here if they're not careful. There will be a fourth shell available, but not enough damage. Big heal coming through. The slows are still there. The shots are still there. And Trevor on the board. Ash is back.
Oh no, and now Philip TPing on the bot side.
It's never ends. Play-by-plays have the worst job in the world. Barrick, please just end this one quick and just die. But no, it is going to take a little bit of time as they're going to get every single combo possible as Instinct will clean it with the execution.
Yeah, this game is definitely not one of the best to be a play-by-play. Every couple minutes, you got about 30 seconds to rattle off. Maybe even more than that for that last one, especially. But everything's just falling in Citadel's favor. 4K up, so at least Dowg in the last one with the gold that Darius accrued from a lot of those shutdowns is going to come back just a little bit, but it's looking pretty scary here. Nightstar barely dodging away from that Ashe ult. Doesn't have cleanse crucially in this one, but now Protoss in a little bit of a dangerous position. Armao would love to just cease and desist through that. And yeah, that'll be
easy setup. Barret is some of the most unfortunate and coolest abilities in the game, but Vi just takes all of that out of it. And if anyone's ever wondering how I ended up in A&E with an inflamed lung, it's casting anywhere on Titan. This always happens to me.
Yeah, so definitely, yeah, I mean, this is about how many kills were in the last game, so over a kill and a quarter per minute, so
yeah,
right now it's looking definitely like a bloodbath. I mean, Citadel, they've been looking very controlled, even though it's been so crazy in this one, and in the last. You know, they still are finding all their opportunities across the map, so they haven't really been too worse for wear, despite how much action has come through. I mean, big callouts here. King Clue is 0-6. That's a really rough scoreline to be at when you are running that Xin Zhao, which should be one of those reliable frontliners who could do some disruption in the front line, but has been really forced out of a lot of these ones in a pretty paltry manner. Bradley sitting at level 16. That's a 3-level lead over Lycomos. That is disgusting, frankly. 70 CS too, by the way. Almost a full flame
crazy.
Horizon.
Yeah, it's wild. It is absolutely wild. I do want to point out that I think if you did go for that classic kind of Sundering, it's not Sundering Sky anymore, but if you did, it'd be a lot easier for Xin Zhao, but that's a nice double setup. 2 ults straight onto 2 key targets. Here we do see the Shurima shuffle backwards and Bradley trying their very best, but there is still a Caitlyn available. They will try and chase this one down. They know there's no Azir. They know there's no setback, and Trevor will just stand there slow and try to keep them off the rest of their team, but that is a big fight for Dowg. How much can they take off this? Drake is available, 1 from Soul, but they're going to go all the way in. They're going to try and get an in-hit from this one. Public Execution does not connect, and Lycomos will have to step back, but Towers picked up. A lot of pressure on the map, and Armao still hovering around that Drake. There's no way Armao is going to try and steal this 1v5.
Yeah, if that happens, that's just a nail in the coffin here. Armao going to get the blast plant to get out of there. Not going to go for it. They know this play is done and dusted. But once again, Protoss really shining here as one of the big engage options for them. And now they're going to look for another one. Instinct in just no man's land. Going to get forced down. And Philip now on the back end trying to get out of this one. Probably will be fine. But that's a great set of looks here from Dowg as Barrick finds Philip.
Yeah, Barrick is just going to keep going on this one. King Clue is going to launch over that wall. Smite will get Armao that blue buff, but going on to Protoss, going to try and take out what the carry could be in this Bard, but is now in no man's land, will be able to flash and Vault Breaker out of there, but a little bit of trouble now as they're trying to get back into this one. They will get the stun onto the Xin Zhao, but they will trade 1 for 1 here, as Azir will take out Protoss. Is that the real carry here for Dowg?
I think you have to just bait Baron or go for Baron or something like that. You do have the jungler advantage here. Lycomos is going to try and set up a play onto Bradley, and Trevor doesn't land the RQ. Nice slow by King Clueless, but the distance is just a little bit too far to cover, and they've wasted their opportunity to maybe do something, as now Armao only 20 seconds away. They're going to go for some nice recalls here just to kind of survive out this one. But a nice set of plays, going to get at least the tempo in Dowg's favor, but the gold still sitting strong for Citadel.
Yeah, gold is sitting good, and they're in decent positions here. I am still just constantly worried that someone's going to get caught in a weird place and it's all going to blow up again, because that Baron is sitting there, and I know Citadel are going, we have the Atakan. If we can get the Baron, we can end it. immediately. It's one of those little things. But on the bot side, we do see a lot of pings dropping down. We do see Like a Moz out of position here, but Protoss is going to find Jin on the other side of it. The fourth shot will not do a lot because it's still Protoss healthy right now as they do take out Like a Moz, but big hit onto Protoss. Ult going to be used. Will Protoss return it to stop the Jin? No, they're just going to get the stun. A lot of trouble here, Protoss. Will get out though, and that seems egregious. Really?
Just able to survive it out. The Jin ult just not doing nearly enough damage at this point in the game. So able to survive, but with Lycomons going down, that's a lot of your side lane pressure down. Bradley just one-shotting him at that side of the map. So they're just going to grab up this turret and extend the gold even more. I mean, this one's looking pretty rough. They found their one window of opportunity to find something, but they weren't able to snowball as cleanly as Citadel has this entire game. So unfortunately, it looks like they're back in the dire straits, and the game is back out of their control.
Yeah, things are shaping up decently for how I expected these comps to do at the start. There is still a lot of Dowg waiting for those moments where they can play backwards, where they can take their time with things. As Armau started it, decided against it, stepped back. A little bit of indecision there from the jungler. I think that was actually a decent time for them to go for it, but they're going to continue looking for fights here. They're going to look for picks. They're going to look to take something off the map, as that Bardald could spell disaster around the Baron pit. King Clueless could get in there very easy with the wind become lightning into the audacious charge. There is a lot available to them to get this one. Well, King Clueless, you missed a camp there with the wind become lightning. That's worrying.
It's a good sign.
We're not going to talk about that one, are we, Golden God? We're just going to leave that one now.
Yeah, I think we've said all we need to say,
Especially
especially for that one.
Interesting. But I do want to ask you something. Looking at these bot lanes now, are you getting more worried for the Jhin when you see Caitlyn this far ahead now with that fourth item completed?
I mean, the Caitlyn's definitely online, and that's kind of what I wanted to see here, but it's just the rest of the pieces that aren't that strong. I don't think Jin's going to be doing much, but I don't think they picked Jhin with the idea that he was going to do much. They are really relying on this Mbessa Azir Vi core on the top side, so they picked this double 80 carry bot lane to maybe be able to survive it, basically solo, but that didn't work out either, but still they find themselves with a lead, so really it doesn't matter too much. Barrack, though, burning down. Bradley with a solo bolo. This Azir is powerful, level 18 at 28 minutes.
Oh my. There's no health available. Public execution on the Protoss. Carry has been taken. We see Armau immediately following that as well. You see the bar go down like a Moz goes down as they try and join on the rest. Knight, you are out of position. That is 4 easy kills from a position of nothing and no reason to be there. They get 4.
Yeah, Proto's magical journey away from the enemy team, but unfortunately, that's also going to be a bit of your demise as well. The rest of your team getting chased down, and now they're going to just go for maybe potentially the end. They have some extra Void Mites from just getting to the 4. King Clueless tries to do damage, but everyone is piling in, and with the couple minions that are still alive, they're just going to force down these last couple HP bars of the turret, and with the last wave coming in, 29 minutes will be the end of Dowg in this one, and that's their NACL qualification chances completely blown.
Wow. I expected another 10 minutes in that game, Golden God. Like, another solid 10 minutes, and it was just like 1 pick, 2 pick, 3 pick, 4, done. That was it. And, like, we have to give a lot of credit over to that Akatan and Grubs diff, because towers just melt, especially when you have a level 18 Azir. And a lot of the credit has to go over to that Azir. That was an incredible showing from Bradley, especially when you said last game that Bradley got caught a lot and was out of position a couple of times. To come back and go, okay, I'll carry this whole game. And just Bradley just took over this one. And regardless of the fact that the bot lane did kind of get eaten alive by the bot side, and Caitlyn looked so strong, when the Emperor is running at you, what do you do?
Yeah, that was definitely something. I mean, look at our graphs of damage here on my left. I think, yeah, left in, well, it's like, okay, whatever, you know, weird camera shenanigans, but Azir doesn't even fit on the graph. They had to truncate it just to make it fit in the graph. 34k damage here for him, so definitely was a star player in this one. And, you know, I'll give some condolences to Dowg for sure. They played better in this game, I think, even despite how dominant it was. Nonetheless, they were finding some good options, and really it just sticks back in my mind to that Protoss is really their star player, in my opinion, has found pretty much every big opportunity in both this game and the last to really put himself on the map. You know, if anything, they could take out some of their reputation as players have definitely grown just because of this tournament. So come the next NACL, they may find themselves on some pretty solid rosters going forward. But that's not the story of this weekend. Citadel now have made the losers bracket journey. I think they are at like 17-2 as far as game score. So they've played an absolute absurd number of games this whole NACL the last couple of weeks, and they still got one more series to really solve it.
Yeah, I think that from what they've been showing in the small amount of games I have managed to watch, that their comps are very versatile. Like there's always things that could be dropped out and dropped in there. There seems to be like a jigsaw of every single time. It's just like, okay, well, we have a Z or we have Mbessa. Let's set it up with a Vi, and bot lane, do whatever you want. Don't worry about it. We'll do the rest. And even in game one, from the little bits that I saw, it seemed the very same, but just more topside focused. So they have this way of just like fitting everything around what they want to do and covering all bases in a way that, like, if we don't have a strong ADC, we have an Azir. Like that's like a nice trade-off because you still have that range damage, and the setup from the Ashe was still there. Jhin still had the 4 shots and the ults coming through. So there's still those options available. So Citadel looking very, very strong, very excited. But Dowg, I just want to see a little bit more from them in the future. I hope they stick together. That's one thing I always like, is that if you give it one more chance, and you really, really like kind of grind out those little issues that you have, like Protoss could definitely rally these guys in and just go, look, we can win these. We can definitely get these done. I think everyone has something that we can look at and go, that's where their strength is. Let's work on that, really get them up onto it. And yeah, I'm very, very happy with both. Closing thoughts, Golden Guy. What was your favorite thing from this series?
My favorite thing this series, I mean, honestly, it was just how solid Protoss and has been. Like, that was a lot of great engages in game one with the Nico, and then finally finding the one opportunity back. Of course, they squandered it a little bit afterwards, but definitely something solid there. But I wanted to do a couple last words for the next matchup, which is obviously the last of the entirety of NACL OQ1, which will be Citadel versus Friendly Fellas, because we got it on the other stream that they actually finished their game already. So that's going to be our slated matchup for the final slot of this entire tournament here. So pretty interesting stuff there. Or not Friendly Fellas, excuse me. Tempest. Sorry, Friendly Fellas fell. So Tempest is going to be the one that they're actually going to end up playing against. And Tempest I had the opportunity to cast yesterday, and they actually looked amazing as well. So both of these teams kind of coming off of a pretty big high going forward, and Citadel gets a little bit lucky. They aren't going to have to go for the run back against Friendly Fellas, who was the team that originally knocked them down into the losers bracket. So I'm very curious to see what will happen, but if I had to put my bets anywhere, I'd say that the experience across the board for Citadel should put them in a quite advantageous position. But that's pretty much all my thoughts going forward. I don't really know how it's going to go, considering I think the level of competition that these teams have kind of had to battle through in this losers bracket is not to the same degree as actually battling each other for this final NACL spot.
Yeah, and maybe we'll just do a Titan watch party with all the casters. We'll get everyone that joined in. If we're not covering ourselves, we'll all get in and we'll watch regardless. But yeah, it's going to be very exciting to see how these teams shape up, especially because these are open qualifiers. There is a lot more to do. There's still a lot more to play, and there's a lot more League of Legends. But that is all from us. Don't forget, we are Titan. We are going to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We have a lot of games coming up for you, and a lot more secrets coming through soon, as we have some stuff planned in the background. So please do check out everything to do with Titan. We will be back very, very soon. Have a good one.